Hey, what's going on guys? Oscarmini here, and this is the all-new Infinix Hot 10, which I've basically had for a few days now. And one thing I can absolutely and confidently say right now is that this device is an upgrade for what it is. Meanwhile, I'm so sorry guys, I haven't brought you guys new videos in a few weeks now. We've had a lot going on here in the studio, but things are being sorted out. So back to the device, I'm going to share with you guys my thoughts on the Hot 10, sort of compared with the Infinix Hot 9, which was recently announced and also reviewed on this channel. So without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. Now, before the unboxing, the Hot 10 is part of the two devices in the same series annual launch strategy by Infinix. We literally just saw the Infinix Hot 9, which was a decent device from the review, and a few months down the line we have seen the Infinix Hot 10. I think this strategy is about flooding the market with a lot of devices and giving the end users, you and I, a lot of option. It probably works, and that's the reason these guys keep doing this. There are a couple new features and reasons you might want to pick up one of these devices instead, the Infinix Hot 10. But let me rush you guys through with the unboxing. Opening the box for the first time is nothing spectacular. It pretty much follows what you've seen on previous Infinix devices. Smartphone at the top, this envelope type of housing for the SIM ejector, TPU silicone case, screen protection film, and the X Club card. The accessories you find here are the usuals: a micro USB cable, the earphone, and a 10 watts charger, meaning you do not get fast charging feature on the smartphone. And that's it for the unboxing. Material here is definitely plastic. I'm not sure you expected anything different. Although that's the case here, I mean the plastic build you get from the smartphone, it pretty much is sturdy, and this design isn't far from what we know. A body housing a 6.78-inch display, something I'll talk more about later, with this display housing a punch hole selfie camera. A quick flip of this device reveals a quad camera configuration, slightly rearranged from what we had on the Infinix Hot 9. Also with an LED and biometric fingerprint sensor close to that. The ports and buttons here are volume rocker and power button below that to the right side, while you get the dual nano SIM tray with a dedicated micro SD card slot to the left side. Bottom side has the 3.5mm audio jack port, mouthpiece opening, a micro USB port, not really cool here, and a down-firing speaker configuration or down-firing speaker opening. This leaves the top of this device bland. These are pretty much about the same things you would have seen or known when compared to the predecessor, the Infinix Hot 9. The build isn't really switched up. You definitely get the point if you've been following the Hot series. Speaking of things being a little different, and that's where the processor or the processing on this device comes in. The Infinix Hot 10 here comes bundled with a Helio G70 processor chip, which is a gaming-oriented chipset built on a 12nm process and also meant to target better gaming for low to mid-range smartphones. Now, this is the same processor you would find on the Infinix Note 7, which I recently reviewed on this channel. I have links in the description, and I consider that smartphone a budget king. For the other processing specs you might want to know about this device, you're getting 3GB of RAM here, 64GB of internal storage. I mentioned the Helio G70 processor. Android 10, why not Android 11 though, considering this device barely gets major OS upgrades. So as far as processing on the smartphone, here's my take. It is pretty much smooth, usable, in fact quite smooth for what it is, but it feels like the processing capability of the smartphone is being bottlenecked by the 3GB of RAM on this device. But then again, if they had placed 4GB of RAM here instead, it would have been another Infinix Note 7. So this is one of the reasons for the price drop on the smartphone compared to the Infinix Note 7. Now let me take you guys to the display of the smartphone. You get an LCD panel as usual for the price range. This here is a 6.78-inch panel with an HD plus resolution, that's 720 by 1640, and about 264 ppi density. Colors are actually vibrant as far as the pixel quality here. You'd also struggle to notice the difference between the Hot 9 and the Hot 10 and even the Note 7. They are very much identical. You might struggle a tad bit to use this smartphone under heavy sunlight as with my experience, but hey, that's the same experience you would get with other devices about the same price points. So generally, the display is also good for what it is and gets the job done pretty well, giving you an immersive experience, all thanks to the cutout notch and the large display. For the speakers, they are reasonably loud, just that you definitely notice the lack in bass and you could easily block off the single downfiring speakers. Microphone on the other hand is actually good and loud in terms of phone calls. Nothing to complain about here. 5200 milliamp hour battery is what you get in terms of the battery capacity, which is just perfect fit for this device. A full day's use on a single charge is the least you can get on here. My only gripe here would be the charger, as you get a 10 watts charging brick with this smartphone, which takes about almost 3 hours to get this device juiced up from 0 to 100%. But for the capacity you get here, this is a tank. Now it's camera time. Starting with the specs, you get a quad camera configuration at the rear with a 16 megapixel main lens, 2 megapixel macro, 2 megapixel depth sensor, and an AI lens. The front sensor on the other hand is an 8 megapixel shooter. These are the numbers. Now the real deal, which are the photos coming off this device. How do they look? For me, the photos here are good and okay for the price. Usable color reproduction, with good lighting and little tweaks, you get really good looking photos. You have decent dynamic range, and this is all possible with good lighting, like I mentioned. Things begin to fall apart when you take low light shots. You do not have a lot of options from the rear though. For instance, there is no ultra wide or telephoto option, and more so, the low light feature on this smartphone isn't great. Macro 2 is something I wouldn't really mess with. For both the front and the rear cameras, I think I like them, and with the price in view, it's a solid 7.5 out of 10 in my rating. Videos on the other hand can be recorded up to 2K in resolution from both the rear and the front facing cameras. And I didn't get to see any form of stabilization on here though. Hey, what's going on guys? Oscarmini here, and I'm actually on my way back from GSM Village here in Abuja, where I went to get the Infinix Hot 10. I decided to do a mini unboxing here and test out the front-facing camera of the smartphone. From what I can see here so far, you can record at 720, 1080p, and 2K on the front-facing camera on the Infinix Hot 10. Color reproduction is quite decent from what I can see, although you get this overexposure at the back, as you can see out of the window here, but pretty much decent front-facing camera from the smartphone. Do let me know what you think about this camera, the front-facing camera, and this video. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section below. I picked up this unit for about 63,000 naira, roughly $160. You can get the light version for somewhere around $130 or 53,000 naira right now. So when compared to the recent Infinix Hot 9, review link in the description like I mentioned, this is a definite upgrade. Although this unit costs roughly 8,000 naira more, or about $20 more, I think it is a way better buy. You get better battery, better processing, better cameras for that additional fee. Now, this doesn't mean you should go sell the Infinix Hot 9 you got about a week ago to replace with this one. I wouldn't advise that, considering this device is run on Android 10. Android 11 has been here for a while though, and would have been a better option for the smartphone, the Infinix Hot 10. There are obvious things that could have been better on this device. For instance, I would have loved to see 4 GB of RAM, a better and stereo speaker setup, and also USB-C, considering the processor here, the Helio G70, is geared toward gamers. These little things would have given or bettered the gaming experience on the smartphone. Some other things I would have loved to see here would have been less bloatware from Infinix, from XOS, come on Infinix, and maybe Android 11 instead. But then, what's my verdict on the Infinix Hot 10? At this point, I think the last 3 devices from Infinix I reviewed on this channel actually kind of offer great value for money, and the Infinix Hot 10 definitely follows the trail. For this price, I haven't used or tested so far a device running the Helio G70 processor. If the little things I mentioned that could have made this device a better phone than it is right now are not really issues for you, you are of course good with the Infinix Hot 10. Otherwise, you might want to up your budget and get a better device out there. But for this price, this is a win. That's been it for this review. Do not forget to like, share, and also subscribe to this channel if you haven't done that already. Thanks for watching, and I'ma catch you in the next one. Cuídate.